Imagine a world where we could transform our lives simply by changing the way we think. A world where we could enhance our experiences by controlling the way we feel. It sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? But what if it's not? Let's take a moment to consider what it means to change the way we think. Our thoughts shape our reality and influence our emotions, behavior, and overall well-being. So, it stands to reason that if we want to change our lives, we need to change our thoughts. But how do we do that? It starts with becoming aware of our thoughts and questioning them. We often hold on to beliefs that no longer serve us or are outright harmful, and it's important to identify and challenge these beliefs. For example, do you believe that success and happiness are only attainable through hard work and sacrifice? This belief may be limiting you and preventing you from exploring alternative paths to success and fulfillment. Or perhaps you believe that you're not good enough or capable enough to achieve your goals. This belief may be holding you back from taking risks and pursuing your dreams. Changing the way we think also involves practicing mindfulness and being present in the moment. When we're mindful, we're able to observe our thoughts without judgment and respond to them in a more intentional way. We can also cultivate a growth mindset, which means believing that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and hard work. This mindset allows us to approach challenges with curiosity and a willingness to learn. Ultimately, changing the way we think requires effort and dedication, but the rewards are worth it. By challenging our beliefs, practicing mindfulness, and cultivating a growth mindset, we can transform our lives and achieve greater happiness and fulfillment. So, let's embrace the power of our thoughts and take control of our lives. As Brianna Wiest writes, the only true failure is the failure to grow from what we go through. Chapter 1. Maya grew up in a small town where everyone knew everyone, and there were certain expectations for how she should live her life. Maya was expected to marry young, have children, and live a simple life like everyone else in the town. But Maya had a different dream. She wanted to explore the world, learn new things, and live a life that was different from what she had been taught. She struggled with the societal pressure and the judgment of those around her. She felt like an outsider in her own town. Maya realized that she had been conditioned to think and feel a certain way, but it was up to her to change that. She decided to take responsibility for her thoughts and feelings and not let the external pressures control her. Maya started to meditate and practice mindfulness. She began to observe her thoughts without judgment and let go of negative emotions that were holding her back. Maya understood that it was okay to feel emotions, but it was essential to let them go and not hold on to them. Through her journey, Maya learned that she was in control of her thoughts and feelings. She could choose to let go of negative emotions and embrace positive ones. Maya also learned that it was essential to disconnect from external distractions and focus on her internal emotional base points. Maya's journey is a reminder that we all have the power to take responsibility for our thoughts and feelings. We can choose to let go of negative emotions, focus on positive ones, and disconnect from external distractions that try to control our emotional well-being. So, take a moment to reflect on your thoughts and feelings. Are they coming from inside you, or are they influenced by external pressures? Remember, you have the power to take control of your emotional well-being and create a positive and fulfilling life. Chapter 2. Jack dreamed of becoming successful in life. However, he found himself constantly feeling overwhelmed and disorganized. He couldn't figure out why his productivity was so low, and he felt like he was wasting his time on unimportant tasks. One day, Jack stumbled upon an article about the benefits of having a daily routine. He was initially skeptical, thinking that routine would be boring and monotonous. But as he read more about the habits of successful people, he began to realize that a daily routine could be the key to achieving his goals. Jack started by reflecting on his day-to-day activities and identifying the habits that made him feel calm and focused. He realized that his morning cup of coffee always gave him a burst of energy, and taking a walk after lunch helped him clear his mind. He also recognized that he tended to get distracted by social media and other online distractions, so he decided to limit his screen time. With these insights, Jack created his own daily routine. He started waking up at the same time every morning, and after his cup of coffee, he would spend 30 minutes meditating to calm his mind. He then tackled his most important work tasks, making sure to take regular breaks and go for a walk after lunch. In the evening, Jack made a point to turn off his electronic devices an hour before bedtime, allowing himself time to wind down and relax. He also started keeping a journal to reflect on his day and track his progress towards his goals. Over time, Jack noticed that his productivity had skyrocketed. He felt more focused and energized throughout the day, and he was able to complete tasks faster and with greater efficiency. He also felt less stressed and more in control of his life. Jack realized that by creating a daily routine, he had found a sense of safety and structure that allowed him to eliminate anxiety and kill procrastination. He understood that routine didn't have to be boring or restrictive, but rather it could be a tool to help him achieve his goals and live a happy, fulfilling life. Chapter 3. John had everything he ever wanted in life. He had a good job, a beautiful wife, and 2 lovely children. However, John was not entirely happy. He found himself always feeling anxious, worried, and unfulfilled. John didn't understand why he couldn't be happy. He had everything he wanted, yet he still felt empty inside. One day, John decided to seek help from a wise old sage who lived in a small village nearby. The old sage listened patiently to John's story and asked him a simple question. "Do you think you really want to be happy, John?" John was taken aback by the question. Of course, he wanted to be happy. Who wouldn't? But the old sage continued, "You see, John, we humans have a tendency to create a baseline for our happiness. We set a limit above which we become uncomfortable and slide back into an acceptable state of happiness." John realized the truth in the sage's words. He remembered holding back a celebration once because he thought it would make his less achieving friends uncomfortable. He had subconsciously warned himself about the dangers of standing out. The sage then told John, "To be truly happy, you must raise your happiness limit. Hold on to that sweet feeling for longer. Practice gratitude, meditate, and let it expand. You can be happy despite your circumstances. It's a choice that's rooted in being your best self." John started to practice gratitude every day. He began to meditate and focus on positive thoughts. Slowly, he started to notice a change in his outlook towards life. He felt more content and at peace with himself. John learned that happiness is not about having everything you want. It's about being content and grateful for what you have. It's about raising your happiness limit and being your best self. So, let's strive to raise our happiness limit and be content with what we have. Let us practice gratitude, meditate, and focus on positive thoughts. Remember, happiness is a choice, and it's within our reach if we choose to pursue it. Chapter 4. Lily loved to draw and paint, but she always felt like her art wasn't good enough. She would often compare herself to other artists and feel discouraged. One day, she decided to seek help from her wise old grandfather. Her grandfather listened patiently to her story and said, "Lily, you must let your creativity flow. Don't worry about what others think of your art. Find your own means of creative expression and work on it. It doesn't have to be understood or accepted by anyone else. It only has to be something you enjoy doing." Lily was confused. "But Grandpa, what if my art isn't good enough?" Her grandfather smiled and said, "Creativity is not about being good or bad. It's about expressing yourself in a way that is true to you. Don't heed the temptation to copy others. Do it for its own sake, mindfully, repeatedly, until it becomes a habit and an intuition." Lily took her grandfather's advice to heart and started to create without judgment. She would spend hours painting and drawing, letting her creativity flow. At first, she wasn't sure what she was doing, but over time, she found her own unique style. As Lily continued to create, she found that she was becoming more and more confident. She no longer compared herself to other artists or worried about what others thought of her art. She was simply enjoying the process of creating. Lily's grandfather was proud of her. He knew that by letting her creativity flow, Lily had discovered a part of herself that she never knew existed. He knew that Lily had found a way to express herself in a way that was true to her. So, let's learn from Lily's story. Let us all find our own means of creative expression and let it flow without judgment. Don't worry about what others think. Do it for its own sake, mindfully, repeatedly, until it becomes a habit and an intuition. Remember, we're all creative beings. It's time to let that creativity flow. Chapter 5. Albert wanted to become a skilled chef. Albert knew that he had to start from scratch and learn everything about cooking, from understanding the different ingredients to mastering the techniques of various cuisines. So, Albert started to learn by reading cookbooks and watching cooking shows. He practiced cooking simple dishes at first, taking note of his mistakes and improving upon them. He made sure to understand the science behind cooking and why certain ingredients and techniques were used. In the next step, Albert tried to recall all the separate parts that went into cooking each dish. He broke down the process of cooking into its separate parts, such as cutting vegetables, measuring ingredients, and cooking at the right temperature. By doing this, he was able to focus on each component of the skill, rather than trying to tackle the whole skill at once. Finally, Albert entered the third phase, where he repeated the process of cooking over and over again. With repetition and consistent practice, he was able to automate his skills to the point where they became as easy as breathing. He could cook with ease and precision, and even come up with new recipes on the fly. The same three-step path can be applied to any skill, whether it's learning a musical instrument, a sport, or a language. By learning, breaking down, and automating the skill, we can become experts in our chosen field and achieve a state of flow where the skill comes naturally to us. So, if you want to become a master of any skill, remember to follow these 3 steps: learn, break down, and automate. With hard work, practice, and dedication, you too can achieve mastery in your chosen field. Chapter 6. Lily struggled with her self-esteem for a long time. She always felt like she wasn't good enough, and constantly compared herself to others. This made her feel sad and unconfident. One day, Lily decided to take control of her thoughts and feelings. She began to consciously evaluate her skills and accomplishments, focusing on what she was good at instead of what she lacked. She realized that she had a lot to offer the world and started to hold herself to high standards of morality and ethics. Instead of looking outside of herself for validation, she found self-worth within. She stopped seeking approval from others and started to trust her own judgment and values. Lily learned to stand up for herself in a way that wasn't defensive, but assertive and confident. Over time, Lily's self-esteem improved significantly. She started to feel more comfortable in her own skin and was no longer afraid to take on new challenges. While she still had her ups and downs, she felt a sense of calm knowing that she was in control of her life. So, just like Lily, you too can improve your self-esteem by consciously and intentionally working on your skills and self-evaluation. Hold yourself to high standards, trust your own judgment, and learn to stand up for yourself in a confident and assertive way. Remember, you are in control of your life, and your self-esteem can be built through your own thoughts and actions. Chapter 7. Rachel, who had a passion for painting. She loved to create beautiful art and would often spend hours lost in the creative process. However, as she started to gain recognition for her work, Rachel realized that her passion alone was not enough to sustain her career. She needed to find a balance between her passion and purpose. Rachel started to focus on developing her skills and learning how to market her art. She set clear goals for herself and worked hard to achieve them, even when it meant delaying instant gratification. Rachel also found that practicing gratitude for her small victories helped her stay focused on her purpose. She avoided distractions and stayed true to her values, which made her feel more fulfilled in her personal relationships as well. Rachel's story is a reminder that passion and purpose are both important. We need passion to ignite our desires and give us the energy to pursue our goals, but we also need purpose to keep us focused and on track. By finding a balance between the two, we can create a life that is both fulfilling and sustainable. So, if you're struggling to find balance in your life, remember Rachel's story. Focus on developing your skills, set clear goals for yourself, and practice gratitude for your small victories. Keep your mind focused on the things that really matter and avoid the distractions that can lead you astray. With time and dedication, you can find the balance between passion and purpose and live a life that is both fulfilling and meaningful. Chapter 8. Once upon a time, there was a hardworking individual who believed that the key to success was to be constantly busy. They woke up early, worked late, and pushed themselves to the brink of exhaustion day after day. They thought that rest was for the weak and that being productive all the time was the only way to achieve their goals. But as time went on, they started to feel burnt out and unfulfilled. They realized that they had been neglecting the importance of rest and reflection in their pursuit of success. That's when they learned the first lesson: to learn to rest. They started to prioritize getting enough sleep, taking breaks during the day, and finding moments of stillness. They found that it was in these moments of rest that their mind was able to process their experiences and come up with creative solutions to their problems. The individual also learned the importance of avoiding judgment. They realized that judging others only led to negative feelings and that it was important to treat everyone with kindness and respect. They also realized that by avoiding judgment, they were able to create deeper and more meaningful connections with the people in their life. Lastly, they learned the power of changing their perspective. Instead of seeing obstacles and setbacks as negative, they started to see them as opportunities for growth and learning. By reframing their thoughts in this way, they were able to overcome challenges with more ease and grace. In the end, the individual found that by incorporating these three ideas into their life, they were able to find more balance, fulfillment, and success. They realized that the key to achieving their goals was not to be constantly busy, but to find a healthy balance between work, rest, and reflection. Finally, the insights and knowledge I gained from reading 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think were phenomenal. I highly recommend it. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and if you found value in this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more great content. Trust me, you won't regret it.